Peter Eliades with you. This is Tuesday, December 3rd. We're in the last month of the year. Now tell the truth. Don't you wish you had this software so you could have called a potential turn on Friday of last week or even Thursday of last week? We are so excited about this software and being able to show it off now to people to show you what it can do. Perhaps you found someone that can project the market as well as this software can, but I don't think so. So I hesitate to call it spectacular, but so far so good in terms of the turn last week. Is that the end? Is that the end of this great bull market? Was that an important market top? It's much too early to say that yet. But as we told you on Friday, the day after the top, midday, we were looking at a market that stood a good chance of being at a top of some kind. And with this kind of valuation level that we're at, it could be a very important top. So, boy, have we had a couple of days. Hectic schedule, and we're going to continue to have one. Let's tell you a little bit about what's happened to us. We went back to Phoenix to see our new grandchild, and we stayed at the home of a first cousin whom I've been very close to, a male first cousin for all my life. And he had been quite sick with cancer, and we did not expect it to occur. But while we were there on Thanksgiving Day, I lost my cousin. Very, very close to him and very obviously upset by that. But we did have the joy of our grandchild there to brighten us up a little bit. So that's part number one of not so great a week. We got back today into the California area where we live. We had rented a car in order to bring a lot of things that we brought to Phoenix with us. So we dropped off the car at the airport in Fresno on the way home, left Fresno with my own car that I love so much, my Tesla Model S, and at the first or second light that we were at, the light turned green, we started to go, and our car got sideswiped by another car. Thank God we were all right. My wife is all right, although she may have suffered some back and neck injuries of some kind. Not life-threatening injuries, but scary just the same, and I think perhaps my Tesla may have been totaled. So we got a hold. It was a hit and run, by the way, and we got a hold of it. Anyway, you don't need to know all this stuff. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from and what a hectic day it's been for me. But what I do want to show you, however, is where we stand now. Could we have seen an important top? Indeed, we could have. There are no guarantees yet and no assurances of any kind as yet. What I did do was look at the sign of the bear, as I told you I would, and I'm going to show you those in 1 second. But first, I want to show you some potential projections. As I've said often, our most reliable projection generator has been the New York Composite Index. Not too many people follow that index, but we do have a confirmed downside closing price projection on the New York Composite Index to between 13,162 and 13,171. We closed today at 13,366. So there's significant leeway to the downside. While we're on this chart, let me show you quickly what the S&P cash index looks like, because that also has given a preliminary projection, but not a confirmed one. You see, it's gone below the first offset line, but not the second. And by going below the first offset line, it's given a tentative projection down to between, well, because it's only one crossing, it's only one price, 30, 38, 41 rounded off. So that's a good distance down from here. That projection is not confirmed yet on the S&P. The fact that it is confirmed on the New York Composite lends us to believe it could well be confirmed on the S&P within the next day or two, down to 30, 38 and change. So I wanted to show you those projections. The last thing I wanted to show you, however, was Our results, we told you we would be doing research when we got back, which we've done for the past couple of hours, on the sign of the bear signal. We did not have our 18 consecutive days. There were 17 out of 18 days, however, that fit the pattern perfectly. So what we did was we went back in our database and looked all the way back to the 1920s and said, how many times were the sign of the bear qualifications met except for one day? And when that one day broke it on the upside. So in other words, 17 out of 18 days fill the qualification for the sign of the bear. A single day advance decline ratio below 195 and above 0.65. And if 17 of the 18 days, consecutive days, qualified for that, then what happened if the one day that broke the pattern was on the upside, in other words, higher than 195, and if that was the case, then what happened if the other qualifications for the sign of the bear were met? In other words, the break after 18 days was to the downside with a 2-day average or a 3-day average, whichever was less, of 0.75 or lower for the advanced decline ratio. So those are the parameters. If you didn't get them first time through, just rewind your video, go back and listen if you're that interested. Now I'm going to show you all the times that has occurred over the last, well, actually going back to the 1920s. But the first occurrence we had was January 6th of 53. Now, mind you, these are not signs of the bear, but some of them are pretty impressive nonetheless. This signal occurred 1/6/53, and you can see what happened after that. The next one occurred on December 12th of 55. That was right here. Nothing very dramatic there. You did suffer a decline right after that occurred, but then you made up. You went highs, and you went sideways, and whatever. I'll show you more perspective on the next, let's say, year or so. So it was no great signal in terms of a negative signal. The one after that was in 1964. Let's fast forward to that. Here it is right here, and let's show you a little bit further to the right. No great signal here either. In fact, that was more of a good buy than it was a good sell. That occurred on July 27th of 1964. The one after that was April of 66. Let's go forward to that. Here's that one here. Let's go backwards a little ways so you won't get my picture in your way. This was a pretty good one. April 27th, 1966, right here, and this is what happened right after that. So you're talking about a pretty good decline, 94 down to 74. This is like a 20-25% decline right here in a relatively short period of time. After that, the next time it occurred was May 9th of 67. Here we are right here. Again, immediate decline from there and not much progress over almost the next year. Let's go a little bit to the right here. You can follow with us. So you can see the market really didn't go anywhere over almost the next year. The next signal was not a good one at all. That came on September 6th of 68. But what I will say about this one is, if we do go forward on this one, there wasn't too much that happened on the upside after that, and we hit a very important top in late 1968, right here, going into 69. And indeed, speaking of 69, look at the next time it occurred. May 19th of 69, a very impressive decline after that. This is what happened. Again, not a sign of the bear, but coming very close to meeting the qualifications, and this is what happened afterwards. The next one after that, forward about almost 14 years, 1983, you can see these are relatively rare also. So here's the 1983 signal right here. Again, not a bad sell signal. That one occurred on December 2nd of 1983, right here, and you can see what happened after that. Another one didn't occur until 9 or 10 years later, in January of 93. No, don't do that to us, please. We, here we go. We want to go forward to January of 93, which is January 7th of 93. Obviously not a good one at all. Again, that was a better buy than a sell if there were any kind of signal at all there. Okay, the next one's Jan 19 of 95. And that was right here. And as you can see, again, not a good one. So these are inconsistent signals. Nothing like the sign of the bear. Some of them are pretty spectacular. But again, the one after Jan of 95 was May 18th of 95. No. Again, a better buy than a sell. The next one was July of 98. Let's look at that one. That's right here. Now, that was an immediately good short-term signal. It didn't last for very long because you recovered it pretty quickly, but you had a really good signal here for a negative signal in the market. The next one after that was May of 99. That occurred right here. Let's go back and look at that a little more closely. Here's the May of 99 signal. Again, not that impressive. Sideways move. The market really didn't move to the upside or the downside after that signal. Then July 21st of 2000. These may look different on some of the other indexes like the over-the-counter composite, which saw its top in March of 98. But this is what it looked like. This, again, is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. That was not very good. But look at this February 16th of 01 signal. This was good indeed. A very sharp decline over a very short period of time. And finally, we have not seen such an occurrence for the last 18 years or more. Finally occurred last Friday. Again, the setup was, it's not a sign of the bear, just missing by 1 day. The 1 day that made it miss was a reading above 1.95. In this case, well above. It was like a 2.6 that we saw late last week. So that threw off the sign of the bear. But I wanted you to see that indeed there were some times when the market did not do very well at all immediately after those signals. So that's what we look like. Again, the whole purpose of my doing these updates is to show off this fabulous software. Hopefully we'll be ready for market within the next couple of months. We hope you are being fascinated by it with some of those exact projections that we gave you last week, and one of the reasons why we said we could well have reached some kind of market top. So if you have not subscribed as yet, please go to the lower right-hand side on the YouTube video, click on the little banner, the red banner, subscribe. Once you do that, click on the bell. It's very important now because I can't promise you what the updates will be over the next week based on what I told you earlier in this update. I will be heading back east for a funeral, and I can't tell you. I think there'll probably be an update tomorrow, but after that, for the rest of the week, going into next week, I can't make you any promises. So that's it for now. It was a hectic day for me, but an exciting day in the market. Thanks a lot for watching.